scenario. Sorry. Yeah. I must say that it is all the more relevant in the current scenario of pandemic because of the enormity of digital data being generated from various disciplines. There is actually lot of scope in various interdisciplinary domains also to work in this area of data analytics. And the Department of Electronics has already shown that by picking up this topic of STTP, it not being their core area also. The basic motive of these kind of AICT sponsored STTPs or IST sponsored STTPs is imparting knowledge to our faculty members so that they remain contemporary because in today's era especially where everything is available just on a mouse click, it is very important to engage and impress our young technocrats by engaging them in such kind of emerging areas. Otherwise, everything is available online, right? I'm sure as faculty, you must be facing that problem that students in some fields are more acquainted than the faculty members in a particular upcoming areas. So I must say that you are working in the right direction. I've gone through the content of this program, and I must say it is very well designed, right from the basics to the technical sessions on Python to emerging research area in data analytics. To all the participants who are part of this STTP, I would like to say that this journey should not end here at these 2 weeks of or 10 days of session. After this STTP, you can pick up some mini projects, minor projects, major projects in this particular area. As I mentioned, this is a multidisciplinary area. So faculty from any discipline can work in this domain. You should capitalize on this basic knowledge. And as Risorkar sir also said, that learning is a continuous process. So learning should never stop. Because believe me, the future is digital data, be it any discipline, but the center point is the digital data. So there is a lot of potential in this area. Look at the way the businesses are functioning. The economies are driven by this data wave. They are able to take better decisions, which are having a huge impact on the revenue generation in the business field. Take the case of our education sector for that matter. Now, because of this lockdown, this data analytics has impacted our teaching learning process also. Governments are coming up with various schemes to promote this online learning. I think 2 days back, there was an article that UGC has come up with a proposal that almost 40% of these courses should be imparted in online mode, right? Today also in Times of India, an article has come that Upgrad is now focusing on higher educational institutes for online teaching and tools. So yes, the edtech companies are becoming more proactive. They are making use of these data analytics functions and improvising the education sector also. I mentioned it earlier also. Today also I'm saying that Gartner has listed some of the top strategic trends, which technological trends especially, which you should focus, which are categorized in these 3 themes called as people centricity, which is going to focus on Internet of Behaviors, then total experience strategy, the privacy. Then the second theme is based on location independence, which is going to focus on your distributed cloud, then anywhere operations, the cyber security mesh. Then the third theme, which they are focusing is on resilient delivery, which is, of course, your intelligent business, AI engineering, hyper automation. So yes, as faculty, all of you can start looking into these areas of research. I would once again like to thank the organizers and appreciate them to take a lot of efforts in designing this course. And now, as participants, you all have to take this ahead for at least next 1 year and try to bring out something substantial from this learning in the form of deliverable products or deliverable projects. Yeah. So wishing you good luck and stay safe. Over to you, Sushant sir.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. Now today's first session's resource person is now available with us, Dr. Raju Papneja sir. Dr. Raju sir, before we start our session, first of all, I conclude this inaugural function within 1 minute, and then we can take over the next session. Now with the permission of all the guests, honorable guest on chairs, respected principal sir, and all the participants, it is my privilege to offer a vote of thanks on this occasion. So on behalf of Department of E&TC, Sandip Foundation, Sandip Institute of Engineering Management, Nashik, give a really heartful vote of thanks to our guest of our chief guest, Dr. Sheetal Rathi ma'am, who spent her busiest time gracing this occasion. Today, we had the opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this definitely encouraging us in our future event. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and shown us a new path, ma'am. So thanks to our principal, Dr. Deepak Patil sir, as well as our head of the department, Professor Y.R. Risorkar sir, for this active involvement in such kind of program always. Most precisely, thanks to our honorable management, Dr. Sandip Kumar Jha, for their continuous support and motivation, as well as Professor Pramod Karole sir, academic facilitator of Sandip Foundation. Last but not least, I thanks to all my colleagues and organizing team, IT supports and account section, without which it would not be possible to organize such kind of events. I also thanks to all our monitoring committee of this event, that is all deans of Sandip Institute of Engineering Management and head of the departments of all the departments. So now I request all the guests, please switch on their cameras for an online snapshot of this event. Risorkar sir, Patil sir, please. Due to this online event, we need to take this. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So now with the permission of all, I conclude this short inaugural function, and now we are moving towards our first session. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Participants, all are requested to stay here. Just a few seconds, we'll start our first session. Risorkar sir. Raju sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Okay. So welcome all the participants to this 5 days STTP, that short-term training program on data analytics with Python. Now, today's resource person for the first session is now available with us. I'll briefly introduce our today's eminent personality. Our today's resource person is Dr. Raju Papneja, which is a Chief Growth Officer at ESDS Software Solution Private Limited, a fast-growing data center and cloud technology solution company in India, Middle East and UK, and Chief Operating Officer at Boardhost USA. The vision, purpose, and relentless passion for technology and life of spirituality, that's what Dr. Raju brings to the table. Combined with over 27 years of extensive system and software experience on an international scale, including more than a decade of experience in the United States. Dr. Raju holds bachelor's and master's degree in computer science from KTHM College and PhD in business administration from Frederick Taylor University, USA. He has worked for many Fortune 500 companies in the USA, UPS, Ernest and Young, and Bradstreet and Pfizer Pharmaceutical, to name a few. He has served as a senior advisor in board of technical advisor for IBM for its software cloud initiative, and also as a reviewer for Microsoft Azure Cloud Book from Packet Publications. ESDS proudly owns a patent for world's first vertical auto-scaling cloud, a frequent speaker and panel expert in IT event around the globe. He has won several awards and recognition for his contribution as an expert speaker internationally. Dr. Paneja has been bestowed with many awards like Rashtriya Gaurav Puraskar, Mahatma Gandhi Ekta Samman, National Excellence, Gem of India, Bharat Ratna Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Excellence Award, and Top 100 CIO of India Award at New Delhi for his contribution in the field of technology. So such a eminent personality now with us for the first session as a resource person. So I request our Professor Yogesh Risodkar sir, please heartily welcome to this eminent personality. Risodkar sir, please. Sir, please unmute yourself. Risodkar sir.
Hello.
Yes,
Sir,
sir. Now
I'm
audible.
audible? Yeah, okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sorry for delay. Very good morning and heart welcome to Dr. Raju Papneja, sir. And on behalf of the request from the Department of E&TC and Principal, sir, I'm very much thankful to that Raju, sir, accepted our invitation on a short note. And with his busy schedule in the industry, even though he has given some time for us. So really, really thankful to sir for you are accepting the invitations. And we all like to hear you from the industry perspective. How can you keep throw a light on this particular data analytics with Python on this session? And we always say that there should be a linkage between the industry and faculty, academia. So join hand to hand, something in the part of the research and technology trends in the future, we can contribute something. So always like to get connect with the industry people, and we really want to listen from you. And how can we carry on these things in our part of the practices in the academia and the research work? So warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. It's an honor and privilege to be amongst you all. Uh, yeah, so Sushant sir called me the other day, and I couldn't deny I'm closely affiliated to Sandip. It's like we work very closely together. ESDS and Sandip University has been working together for a long time now. So now I'll not go into much technicalities of Python or data analytics, because I'm sure that there are people who would be only taking sessions which are more technical. As a keynote, I'll try to set a stage where we can take this ahead. And with that note, I would like to present with your permission. I would like to go and start a presentation, if that's okay with everyone.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So do we have the presentation?
Yes, sir. We are observing
Yes, sir.
slide.
It is.
Okay. So it's not just about data analytics. It's about all the emerging technologies, as Dr. Rathi mentioned, that with the advent of cloud and AI, ML, blockchain, so all these fall under what we call the emerging technologies. And data analytics, data science also forms one part of this whole emerging technologies concept that is there out in the world. So to set the context, the power to change, it's a very important concept we need to understand, that 1,000 years back, if you go, who had the power to change this world? Kings were the only people who could change the world. They could take decisions and change the world. They could do wars and change the world. That's how this whole world worked. 100 years back, the power shifted in the hands of industrialists. So you did not have to be a king to change the world, but industrialists could do. For example, Henry Ford, He built a car company, the Ford Motors, and it actually changed the world. It changed the way we thought about travel. We moved from horses and bullock carts to a four-wheeler. Today, every single person, including you and me, can change the world. We can all bring disruption. And this is all because of technology. A small group of people can form a company like Facebook. A small group of people can start a company like Ola, Uber, or Oyo, and you could actually transform, or even ESDS for that matter. Piyush Somani started with a small group, he started a data center and cloud company, and he changed the way people, do business. Well, of course, on the lighter note, as long as you are single, because we all know that, you cannot even change a TV channel if you are married. So looking at the exponential growth, let's understand the growth that is taking place in technology, because this is all going to set the stage for where we are going in data analytics also. If you look at how our brains uh, try to process the information. So if I ask you a question, if you take 1 meter stride, 30 linear steps, where will it take you? It's a no-brainer that 30 steps will take me 30 meters. But then if I ask you that if I were to take exponential steps, which means on day one I took one step, day two, two, day three, four, then 8, 16, 32, 64. Where would that take me at the end of 30 days? Now, a rough guess what people give is 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh. That's the max they can think of. Because up to the end of 10 days, you are only at around 1,000 odd steps. And at the end of 15 days, you are only around 1 lakh steps. But the reality is that if you think of that exponential 30 days and you can do that maths later, you would roughly be going 26 times around the earth. Now that is unimaginable. Our brains cannot even comprehend how is that possible. So when you do it, you will see that how many lakh of meters we go in 30 days if we go exponential. The point here that I'm trying to make is that whenever we are doing education in any institution, we try and tend to think linear, whether it is students, whether it is professors, whether it is the researchers, they mostly think linear. And they think that, one day after 5 years, when my education is over, this is where I'll end up. But the problem is technology doesn't go linear. Technology goes exponential. And by the time you complete your bachelor's or master's, technology has reached here. And then suddenly you are not ready for the industry. And that is what is known as the exponential growth surprise factor. Look at the technologies that have taken place and how they have grown. So in 1400s, the printing press came, and then after that for 200 years there were no new technology. Then suddenly one of the technology comes, and then for 100 years there's no technology. So but if you look at the last 20 years or last 2 decades, I would say, look at the speed with which disruptions have come. It's between 2010 and 2020, we have started seeing hybrid cars, we have started seeing driverless cars, 3D movies, the 3D printing, cloud, blockchain, all this has happened in last 10 years, which means the speed of disruption is huge and we have to keep up with this pace. So the takeaway from here is that technology is growing at an exponential rate, but humans are still thinking in a linear fashion because they are taught to do that from school age, they are taught to go from first standard to second standard, from second to third standard. It's a linear journey. So everything for them is linear. Let's look at what happens online in 60 seconds. Every minute that we are passing by, and this is like a 2019 data, a year-old data, there are 294 billion emails that are being sent. And how many internet users are there? Less than 5 billion. Okay. If you look at YouTube, there are 500 hours of video which is getting uploaded every 60 seconds. Look at the information bombarding that is happening out there, the explosion of information or data, I would say. 54 million WhatsApp messages. This is a huge number when you think about it. It's not a small number. No. How many Instagram posts and then 4 million Google searches. So these data are just out of the mind. They're out of the world data, and and this is 2 years back. Today everything has gone online. Education is online. We are doing our sessions online. This data probably has gone 4 to 5 times in last 1 year. In 1990s, I remember I went to US in 98 and I was working for United Parcel Services, and they had the biggest data in the world. Their data size was 9 terabytes. That was humongous then. We had only heard of GB, but this was 9 terabytes. In 2000, we were talking about something near about petabytes. Today, a small data center like Nashik data center that we have has petabytes of data storage. 2010s, we were talking exabyte. And then we started moving to zettabyte, yottabyte, zenotabyte, shillentnobyte. And now we are using this term, domegamegrotabyte. This is how far we have reached, and this journey has been only 3 decades. Look at the speed with which data is growing. Now let me show you. Now this is big data analytics. It is not data science, but this screen is big data analytics. Just take an example of a shopping place like Big Bazaar. Okay, it's not a very complicated thing to understand this. So I have a small video which is of a Joe's Superstore. You can compare it with Big Bazaar. Now Joe's Superstore is a very small store in US, and let me play this small video which will give you a kind of I would say a benchmark or an idea of where the data is going and why we even need data analytics. Okay, so let me just play this video. So I hope you get an idea of where I'm coming from, with the way you need business insights to stay competitive in this world is where we are going and where big data helps. But if it was just big data, then things would have been different. We have actually moved a step ahead from big data now. And that's why data science is necessary. Data scientists are necessary. Languages like Python are necessary. We'll go into the details more. What we are going through, if you see, is that data explosion, which I already kept in front of you, what is happening in every 60 seconds. But we are also on the cusp of data revolution. Now, what do we mean by that? So, for example, look at Hadoop. Hadoop is more than a decade old. And if you look at data seems to be there like from eternity. But we really are just at the start of this revolution. Just like in the 90s, so how is data coming today? We just saw data is coming, the three V's which are very commonly used. Data is coming at a speed, in volumes, and in variety. Now, if you look in the 90s, what happened, we saw a revolution which was called the internet revolution and the telecommunication revolution. Similarly, here we are at the cusp of a data revolution. And with these three V's, the rate at which data is getting generated, the heterogeneous variety in which it is getting generated, and the sheer volume of data that is being generated has actually brought us to a point where data is now everywhere and it is getting denser by each passing moment. With Internet of Things, 50 billion devices will be connected in few years. Imagine the kind of data they would be generating. Well, while this comes with its own set of challenges, it also comes with a basket of opportunities, I would say. One might argue that what is the issue? Why just we don't make faster computers, do work in parallel processing, and that should solve the issue of data being so much, data being everywhere. Now, just to put that in perspective, Napoleon said that the amateurs discuss tactics and the professionals discuss logistics. What did he mean by this? Meant that tactics basically is, like how someone flies a plane or how someone bombs a territory or even how someone, let's say, hides in the bushes. Professionals, on the other hand, they think big. They think about things like how do you keep the soldiers fed with food when they are fighting? How do you get the required ammunitions to the soldiers on the field? Or how do you get wounded soldiers out of the field and save their lives? Similarly, when it comes to programming, I would tend to say that amateurs think about functions, but professionals think about bandwidth. And that is the real challenge with distributed parallel processing systems. Connectivity between these heterogeneous systems with heterogeneous latencies and networks. In this new world, everything we knew about computing has changed. We are now speaking about streaming services from some elastic cloud running somewhere on the planet that we have no clue about. Just like the way we thought about computing has changed, similarly, the problem today is not that there is humongous data or their data is everywhere, but the fact that everything around the data is changing. The way we understood or made sense of data isn't relevant anymore for business. And why do we say so? We have GPUs today, we have serverless computing, NoSQL, and then people writing softwares and selling on SaaS model. where on one hand they're saying that you should not worry about the virtual machines, compute, storage, or even operating system. But on the other hand, a lot of work with operating systems is going on. We are left with not just writing code anymore, but we'll be thinking all the things around it. I mean, look at how Hadoop distributed the data warehousing market. It completely changed the conversation. And that is just one thing, one vertical. Everything will be similarly disrupted as people go back and revisit the last 2 to 3 decades of their assumptions. Why is this significant in this presentation is due to the fact that the way people run businesses are fundamentally driven by technologies. And these technologies supposedly are very, very old and outdated. For example, NumPy, which we feel is so new, and languages like Python, when we hear about it, we all say, wow. Well, it's not that new anymore. So what I'm trying to say is that we think about questions and getting answers to those questions is all based on old stuff. The old methodologies that were built on a base of a certain computational infrastructure and computer science and computer systems, all those sort of things which have been stable for decades. But all of those things are changing now. So really, we are not in midst of data revolution, but I would say we are in the midst of what we call everything revolution. Data is just the center, but everything around it is changing. So the way we think about solutions is changing. For example, you go to customers and they ask what is the best way to do this or how do we solve this. Soon we will all realize that there is no one single size fits all approach. There will be different approaches for different kind of problems, different configurations, and that is going to lead to some rapid evolution in this industry. Companies that are quickly adopting data science, they would really be like those earlier life forms. If you look at evolution, and if you go to Google and you probably type the evolution of eyes, of human eyes, you will see that there were life forms which had no eyes, and then they had an eye which could see in crude form. Then they had one eye, then they had eye with without eyelashes, then with eyelashes. So it evolved over a period of time. And these massive advantages for the creatures that could see versus the ones who had not evolved was huge. For example, a simple thing, they could identify prey from a predator. Even if some life form had just one eye or a crude eye, it was still better than having no eyes. In the same way, if companies will be sitting there 5 years from now, 10 years from now, with Excel sheets or MIS systems or old business intelligence software, then they will be just eaten away by somebody for lunch. Some companies come and just eat them up. If you look beyond evolution of eyes, the eyes were not just seeing things, but they were able to take all the information and synthesize them in a very complex neural structure and then process those things. So when we think about an eye, it's not just an eyeball or a retina, but what makes it amazing is that we have a visual cortex that is able to learn and synthesize things. It's able to turn the raw sensory input into understanding and then make predictions, and mostly accurate ones, around us. Similarly, as businesses grow and evolve and think about new algorithms, use new systems, work with researchers to develop new approaches for old problems on this new kind of computational infrastructure and models, One thing that we definitely need to think is how do we end up with a real good integration of symbiosis between all this technology, the data sensors out there, the data collection methods, and all the people who can make the judicious calls, which would include asking the right set of questions, who know which questions are better than other questions, which takes me to another important point that passing through this era of data revolution, we are entering into an era of data literacy. And what is this data literacy? The ability to think, I would say, statistically, think about models and how flawed every model can be, the ability to explore data in different ways, different dimensions. That is the new kind of data literacy that will be required for any field. I mean, no matter what field you are in, be it government, education, or maybe you are an astrophysicist, you're an astronaut, it doesn't matter. We all will be covered with data. We will be swimming in data day and night. And the only way not to drown in this ocean of data is to know how to swim. Just like we all can type on computers today or play games on computers, it has become a normal skill. It's just part of the game, a new norm. Everyone will possess that ability. So, in this new era, the ability to think statistically, ability to know what is possible computationally, that is the part of literacy required as a high functioning professional in any field going forward. Now, why the term data literacy? The data literacy, we use that term data literacy because language ultimately is a human instinct, and the way our brains are wired, it is a natural path to gain insight through series of questions and logics. So when you talk to Python coders, you see that excitement and the way they explain how it just sort of works for them, the executable pseudocode and all the wonderful things that you hear is ultimately nothing but an expression around the concept that there is very little mismatch between how we think about things and how we are able to code those ideas. That expressiveness and agility is a key feature of Python. And one of the challenging things is to defend it because you really don't have a CI process running out there for every commit that says whether the code was expressive, whether it was fantastic or not. This is the fuzzy wish that people always try to defend in the world of Python. And that is if you are actually able to give the human brain if you are actually able to give the human brain the ability to seize upon their language instinct, you are able to give them something that you can take that language instinct and connect it back to computers. Then what you have is not just a software or a virtual machine or a Java runtime, but it translates into a thoughtware that extends the reach of the mind. In the same way, for example, mathematics let us do. Basically, we now have to do math on certain kind of hardware or certain kind of computational systems. And the way to do that math or reason within that defined scope is to use a language that lets you do both think as well as compute at the same time. And that's really where Python comes in the picture for data analysis and data science. Now, why really Python? There are so many languages out there. People would say, why not Bash? So this slide explains it very nicely that the difference, if you look at the difference between Python and Bash, for example, you see the difference is the spectrum that is there on the screen. On the right-hand side of the spectrum, there are programmers who know how to write code. They understand the code, software architecture, And on the other end of spectrum are the analysts who understand domain problems, who understand the texture of business problems they are trying to solve, but they can't really code it all. They are more of, I would say, Excel users or users of certain business intelligence tools, more of visual tools users. The programmers live and die with editors, VI editor or C editors, and they are more or less fine with it. What is interesting is what you see in the middle of the spectrum. These are emerging class of people, I would like to say, who are not writing code just for the sake of coding. Nor are they sitting and clicking around on the links, hoping that some tool that was built 20 years ago will give you the answers you need. So in the middle of the spectrum, you are producing code that will produce insights, just like a cortex of an eye, and that is an amazing thing. But what is more amazing is that you do not have to learn some weird tool or language to do this. You can use Python, and it spans both. So for example, if you make a Jupyter notebook, if you make a small Python script that does an Excel query, pulls some stuff from here and there, changes some fields around, and let's say sums up, it gives a mean, median, or something, you can take that script to an Excel user who don't know anything of computer science, but they can probably edit the script to suit their needs. This ability to riff off your code is an amazing thing, and that Python makes this thing actually makes Python a very viral technology within organizations. At the same time, you can take Python code and give it to your backend Java developer, for example. They would not really know the syntax details and stuff, but it can still make sense to them, at least a lot of more sense if it's like MATLAB code for code, and they know how to deploy it. They can just simple Google around and look at sites like Stack Overflow to figure stuff out for themselves. The fact that you can use only one language, not only to express your domain ideas, the mathematical, the statistical, to computers, but you can also express it to other people. It is like a unifying bridge. And it becomes more important due to the fact that when you see in real life, data science is actually a team sport. It is not to be done in silos. People think that data scientists, they work in silos in some cubicles, making sense of data out there, but it is not. Really, it's a team sport where within the data science community itself, there are individuals with varying degree of skills, and data science is always interacting with and contextualized in the middle of a bunch of business operational questions and whole bunch of IT and software and IT infrastructure. And so it is important for us as we move forward into this new era to understand what does this heterogeneity mean, what that disruption means. A lot of these people that you see on the screen, they will be used to certain tools, and they're not used to those tools getting changed often. They have been using tools like Excel for last 30 years. While on the left, the kind of business people or analysts that you're seeing, they do not care about tools, and they need to now start caring about tools. Data scientists, therefore, being sort of a hyperspectral group in the spectrum, just like Python is a language that glues it all together. Data scientists will also be a glue community, bringing all the people together into this new world of computing. Now, Python remains, if you look at the Statista data of 2020, you will see that Python remains by far the most popular programming language, according to GitHub and Google Trends. And it has surpassed Java and JavaScript long back in popularity. Now, Python, which was first implemented in 1980s and have become one of the key programming languages, it has had some major updates over a period of time. And then while newer programming languages from companies like Google or Apple have tried to become the new standard, Python and some other older languages have continued to be used by developers across the world. So large companies like even Google, Instagram, Dropbox, all these companies, if you see, they rely on Python for their versatile suite of products and platforms. And completely transitioning to a different language is an enormous task. Most organizations today use Python for
Raju sir, your voice is not audible.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, now you are audible, sir.
Yeah, sorry, I think there's some problem with Zoom. Anyway, so I was here that just like a couple of decades ago, to set up an online web service, you would have to buy physical servers and co-locate them somewhere.
Excuse me, sir.
Pardon?
Please present your screen, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Is
it
that
is.
visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this took a lot of planning and effort, a lot of capital investment, lead times, physical access. But now today, if you see, to set up an online web service just with a few clicks of your mouse, you can get 20 cloud servers out there, and many organizations bidding online to provide you servers at the cheapest rate. So just a few years ago, to set up a machine learning service, data scientists would have to laboriously work through a morass of pre-processing, parameterization, and acceptance testing. Again, it took a lot of planning, effort, salaries, data sets, computation, tolerance for risk. But what about now? Are we nearing the 3 clicks for machine learning services too? And if so, does this mean that in-house data scientists will become a thing of past? That's a very, very big question. And it is relevant because if you see, uh, during this evolution of our technology, we are somewhere, we are somewhere after the third person here. We have wearable devices. After that, we will be having neural connected devices, and then ultimately a consciousness which spans everything, a common consciousness. So, so what is it, and why would it happen? If you go back, you will see that with machine learning and AI, many of the jobs are getting extinct. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if in coming times, we would take our kids would take their kids to the museum and they would see, these extinct jobs that happened in one time in sitting there in museums that, we used to have somebody called accountant who used to do this, because our kids will not know what accountant was, or cleaner, everything with robo cleaners out there, robo vacuums. Our kids would never know that there was somebody who used to clean stuff. So, fast food chef or financial advisors or receptionist, all this is going away with the advent of technology. Soon this will be extinct. Actually, the real question sometimes becomes even drivers, right? For driverless cars coming in, even drivers would get extinct. truck drivers could get extinct. Now the real question is, will humans be the horses of digital era? And why do we say that? Because if you go back to 1900 or before 1900, from 1700 to 1900, you see everybody rode horses. That was the only mode of transportation to go from one city to another. Okay, but what happened after 1900 when motor car was found by Ford and we had two wheelers? Suddenly, where did all the horses go? Now people just use it, as in a museum, as some show thing, or people keep it for hobby. They have one horse for hobby now. So will that be the scenario? Well, actually, all the tasks that can be digitized or automated will definitely go back to museums, and we might become the horses of the digital era unless we upgrade ourselves day in and day out. And that brings me to that very important point, that this era is an era of learning, unlearning, and relearning quickly enough to jump to the new skill. While data science will be there for a long time and data scientists will be needed, even though we see that AI and ML, the rise of AI and ML, they will take away a lot of the scope of what data scientists do today, but that is not going to end the role of data science. It is going to change the role of data science. And that's why I say it is very important in this era for everybody, whether it is me, whether it is faculty, whether it is a researcher, a student, whoever it is, to get this skill of learning, unlearning, and relearning over and over again and quickly. So going forward, why would data scientists not become obsolete? Well, one of the reason is that you will still need somebody to choose the right set of problems and frame them in the right way. You need someone to notice that there's a potential, high value, feasible opportunity where you can use machine learning or data. Who will figure that out? Whether you should use machine learning or you shouldn't. What do people spend a lot of time on that could actually be automated? You need somebody to figure that out. What could an algorithm do that we cannot do currently, that would be of value to customers? Which class of algorithms would be a good fit for this? Or how hard would a solution be to build? All these things you still need a data scientist to answer. What form does the data exist in now? How do we clean it? Or which algorithm should we use to clean it? How expensive in money or time will this service be? You also will need data scientists to evaluate how well things are going. So one thing is, getting the things done using machine learning models and all, but you also need to evaluate whether it is working for you. Now you will need to separate training and test sets, decide on the right metrics of evolution, agree on some performance thresholds. Uh, who will measure that performance and how well should we expect to be able to do? Does some error matter, or we can ignore the errors? Do our sanity checks pass? Are there biases or are there potential pitfalls that we need to look for? So setting that benchmark, how well should we expect to be able to do? All those things, that is where the role of data scientist will still be there. Improving the performance, what if, yes, it is doing its job, but the performance is really not good enough? Who will judge? Will that machine learning algorithm itself judge itself? Or what if performance in the real world is worse than expected from your early tests? So when you made models and did your tests, it was fine. But when you go into the real world, it's just not working. And what if it is worsening over a period of time? Now, is that because of a problem with your data? Is it because of sampling? It's just that there is not enough data. Is it overfitting, underfitting, outliers? Is it something weird about that algorithm that it is not working for this kind of data? Can we visualize what's going on? How does it behave on different types of data, synthetic data? how have the data or problem changed over a period of time when we were running this algorithm. So all these things, can a data scientist do something to improve the performance by feeding a different set of data? Which is to say that you will need at least some data science expertise to choose and define the right set of problems and to be confident that things are working well. And you will need much more data science expertise if you want to understand why things are not working well and then try to improve them. With that context, I would thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to put a perspective in place about why data science, why data analytics, and how Python is the right choice as of today, and what data scientists have a future with. Uh, and ultimately, I'll sum up in one word that no matter whether it's a data scientist or it is any other faculty or field, the main strength of any individual today will be to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Thank you. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can we have take some questions from participants?
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Yeah. Participant, please put your questions in chat box. Just 1 minute. Yeah, sir, one question is there from Alka ma'am. Sir, in your point of view, which field of data science is good to enter in the world of data science?
Thank you, Alka. That's an interesting question. See, it really depends. What I would reply according to my choice, it really depends on your area of interest. Because see, data science is all about computational models and making sense of data. It is so there are a lot of things in data science. One is starting from ingesting the data, how you store the data, how you massage the data, how you spit out the data. There are business analysts. So people who love to do business analysis with domain knowledge, they are free to be on that end of the spectrum. But others who really love to do kind of programming and love to work on things like Python and create new models, they would really like to be on the AI ML side of data science. That's where the world is moving actually, because what will happen is the people who are doing a data analysis using manual tools, now the manual tools are also getting automated. So now a person who initially made one model, two model, five models, and took 1 month to make five models, today what is happening is you supply that data to a machine learning tool and it will create 30 models within 5 seconds or 10 seconds. So that role of data analyst is gone. So there is not a specific role, I would say, or a data science analyst designation, I would say. But what we should be looking at is that how do we complement AI and ML capabilities, and how do we work a step ahead and on top of what AI ML can give us. And what AI/ML is doing is only one part out of five parts. As I mentioned, it is about bringing technology, people, domain expertise, coders, everybody together, and business. So somewhere we have to become a business person, a data science business person, not just a technology guy who understands data science. So that is the role that I would say one should be looking at now, because ultimately it's about business.
Sir, another question is from Kapale sir. Dear sir, what could be a bottleneck in field of AI or ML?
what would be bottleneck in the field of AI and ML? I believe in last whatever 27 years I've been in technology, the only bottleneck in any field till today, if you look at nations like India, it had been regulations, lack of, lack of that zeal to go forward and make proper policies. In the field of, if you go to the Western world, only your mind or thought process will be the bottleneck. Otherwise, there is no bottleneck, and you cannot stop the evolution. We have to take it and we have to accept it that evolution cannot be stopped. We cannot go back. We cannot turn the world back. So it's your own imagination, your own thought process, which can become a bottleneck. But otherwise, there's really no bottleneck that you will see in the world of AI and ML.
Sir, it's which is sequence priority R or Python?
Again, as I said, some people prefer R language, some prefer Python language. But if you see in the world what is being accepted and largely being used using Anaconda packages, you will see that Python has really taken a leap ahead.
Sir, it is from Amresh Kumar. It was very insightful session given by Dr. Raju. Apart from Python, which one do you feel could be the next game changer in digital transformation with AI, ML, DL? Do you feel this could be a threat to human?
So Python basically is just a language, a scripting language, I would say. But when you say what could be the next game changer in digital transformation, I think we have already started with the world of blockchain, which definitely is going to change the way we work, where everything every block every data that is stored in a block, it ties up to the previous block and it is untamperable or very hard to tamper. I would say nothing is untamperable, but at this point, with the kind of uh, compute power that is available, it becomes difficult to tamper. So blockchain is one of them, and going forward, what is very promising today is quantum technology. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if after 5 years we would see people using quantum computing for a lot of stuff, which is something which I think, Amresh, we should be keeping an eye on. Uh, do you feel these could be a threat to human also? That's a very, very good question, Amresh, and I would like to answer it using a question itself, So the day knife was invented, chaku, knife, uh, so knife was invented and it did a lot of good tasks for us. It helped us, cut the vegetables. It helped us to cut many things which were necessary. And also, doctors are saving lives using operating people using those same knives. Now, the same knife in the hand of a burglar or a dacoit, he uses it to take lives. Rather than saving lives, he uses it to take lives. Now, do you think the knife is good or bad? I wouldn't say that knife is good or bad. Similarly, no technology is good or bad. Nothing in this world, for that matter, is good or bad, or is a threat or not a threat or a boon. It is the way we use it that will create that identity, whether it is going to be a threat for us or it is going to be a boon for us. So that is my perspective. I wouldn't say it is a threat or it is a boon, but it's how you use it. In hands of the right people, it is definitely going to be a boon.
Okay. Lakshmikant Malve says, okay, I'm not interested in development and coding. Rather, I'm afraid of and want to keep it distance. So without development expertise, how can I progress ahead in learning data science analysis? What expertise or which tools should I knowing or start learning?
So very interesting. That's why I said Python, you really don't need to learn coding. Python is just like an English language, I would say. So, I think you can start with Python because going to any other language would be difficult for you. But this is like a very, very simple language. And without actually learning anything, it has all the tools in it. You don't have to go through a very rigorous learning process. Even the business intelligence tools that exist out there, like Power BI and all, they all are difficult to learn than this kind of language.
Sir, one question is that as a student point of view, how as a fresh graduate student can enter into the data science field?
The best way really is to jump into it. To start with some organization who keeps on doing research, just like ESDS. We keep on doing a lot of research. We have a team of R&D people. As you all know, we have a patent for vertical auto scaling cloud from US and UK, and that was developed by Rishi Jadhav, who was at that time almost a fresher. He did his B from KK and now he has his ME. So we have our own IoT platforms. We keep on doing a lot of research. So you have to join those small organizations who are research oriented, not big organizations who are process oriented. Things don't come out of process oriented organizations. They become service organizations. Their whole revenue comes from service model. Take a soul and you rent a soul kind of thing. Or that's why they call it body shopping also. So join small organizations, or have your own startup. Have your own startup and tie up with these small organizations and give them data insights, create models. So whichever way works. If you are well to do at your home and you're not uh, immediate need of finances, then you can think of starting your own startup with guidance. There are mentors all around today. You can connect with mentors on LinkedIn and they will be glad to take you ahead.
During graduation, required any course?
See, graduation, whatever courses there are today, most of them were outdated. Now, AICTE has revised the syllabus. But if you can start with just go to a website like Coursera, edX, just go there and start reading about the basics of data science. Start from there. Find some mentor who's working into data science. Be in touch with the mentor, and that is the fastest way to grow rather than institutions right now.
Yes. Sure. There is.
So I see a question: is AI reached its peak in India or still in rising stage? So artificial intelligence, it's not like anything that goes to a peak and never comes back again to a peak. It's like what's going on with our COVID situation. It goes to a peak, comes down. That was one wave of that AI. You see, AI is also initially it was just training the data models. It was predictive. Then we went ahead and then we had natural language processing, and now there is a lot of hope that is still there, and people are working on those. Uh, uh, it's just on the start point where people are trying to understand emotions. Language is understood, but not the emotions, the synthesizing of the sound, in what context and what frequency the sound is coming, so that you could, from that sound, you could understand whether the person is speaking in anger or is speaking at a normal pace. There's a lot that still needs to be learned. AI will never hit a limit because it is a journey. It is exploration. It's like human can never hit a limit. Human will always keep on exploring, and we are also something like artificial intelligent robots. If you see, we keep on learning from all the information and we keep on maturing. From childhood till now we have matured and we will keep on maturing. Similarly, artificial intelligence is the same thing. It's learning, and learning is never going to end. So there is no peak that will ever come for AI. AI and human stupidity have no limits. That's to sum up in one line.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir. There are a lot many questions are asking participants, but due to some time limit for you side, so
No
we
problem,
conclude
sir.
this.
I will put my email address on the chat.
Okay.
So people can always connect with me on that email address.
Yes, yes. Participant, don't worry. The recording also you will get it. No issue.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, participants, and thank you, the management, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, that you took the time out of your busy schedule and showered with your pearls of wisdom and knowledge. We are truly humbled by your presence, sir. Thank you once again.
Likewise.
So just 1 minute, I request our Professor Yogesh Yasodkar, sir, to please offer the vote of thanks to Dr. Raju Papneja, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, sir. It's a really a nice informative session. Actually, as it has given a different perspective to see the analyze this particular, we can call it as a ocean of data. And sir, you rightly said that we have to change something our mindset, that we have to go for the exponential thinking, not the linear thinking. It's a need of a time. And with the example of evolution of I, you try to find how the businesses is growing and what are the risks are there. And every time the business has to make some updations inside it. As you compared this data scientist role in the future as this AI ML, this technology is emerging out. And you widely have said that there's a great role for data scientists, even though this AI ML technology will be there hand to hand now. So basically, I can say, sir, you have set a really right path for this particular our 5 day session. You have said that there is no any bottleneck as far as in any particular sector. Rest of the things are only part of the thinking and the mind. And we are seeing that whatever the stupidity we try to think, the different thought process goes on there. And what the AI ML don't have any limits inside it. So different technologies will be there in our hand in the future, and we are to ready for that one. So really a different nice session for us and for our participants. I think so all participants are really agree for all this particular thought process set by the Dr. Raju Papneja, sir. Really thankful, sir, for spending time with us. And we know that you are really associated with Sandip Foundation, Sandip University from so many years. And we are really thankful from management point of view also.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So participants, we'll start the next session just in few minutes. Next resource person is now available with us. Attarde, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yes.
Good morning, Attarde, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
So thanks to all participants for patient listening of this session. So without wasting time, our first session time period is from 10:30 to 12:30. So we'll continue the next session right now. That is of journey of whole Python. So first 2 days, we will go through the journey of Python by the eminent speakers and industry personalities. And then afterward, next 2 days, we are focusing on the application and implementation. So through this Python journey, we will use the practical hands-on also. So for those participants who already have the hands-on or already using Python, they can use their platform like a Jupyter, maybe whatever Python they use for Python programming, or some new peoples are there, then they can use the Google Colab. So we'll put the link on chat box also. So those who are new with the Python, so they can try the practice with the resource person using Google Colab. Yes. So Attade sir has just posted the link, that is collabs.google.com. So you can just, if you are online, then just click on this link. So without wasting time, I introduce our new resource person for the rest of the sessions, Mr. Ganesh Liladhar Attade sir. So Ganesh Leeladhar Attade sir is a tech career expert and the founder of GB Softtronic Solution and a career lifestyle hub. And the mission of sir is to help 1 lakh career aspirant to achieve their career goal using the power of technical mastery. Sir's achievement has Sir has conducted more than 20 plus workshops and FDPs in different engineering and diploma colleges. And Sir has received one of the topper of 1% and gold medalist in the NPTEL courses like Introduction to Programming in C, then it's programming in C++, then it's a problem solving through programming in C, then it's a microprocessor and microcontroller, that is act as a top performing mentor also for NPTEL, that Introduction of Programming, SIEM course programming, and then Introduction to Internet and Java. Sir has now recently as a mentor and founder of GB Softtronic Solution Nashik, which is basically a platform of core trainings, that is C, C++, Python, core Java, advanced Java, ES, IoT, ML. Okay. Such a kind of technical depth of sir have in the field of techniques, that is using Ubuntu, SUSE, Python, MongoDB, MATLAB, Swing, and multi-threading. Sir has also completed the PG diploma in CDAC from ACTS Pune with 4 years of teaching experience also there. So with such kind of technical expertise, I request Mr. Ganesh Attade sir to take over this session.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Okay, so without wasting the time, actually, in the last phase, actually, I'm getting only the 2 session. So I requested sir to get the more time, because in a 2 session, actually, it is not possible to get into the depth of the Python. So we'll try to get the basics of Python. And if you have any question regarding to any topic while I'm teaching any point, you just post your question. I'm answering that question instantly. Okay, so we'll start with the directly hands-on. Okay, so if you don't have the Jupyter notebook installed in your computer, the Anaconda Navigator is not installed in your computer, then no worry. Only your computer should be connected to internet. So just go to the collabs.research.google.com. Just sign up there, sign up with your Gmail account, and you will have this kind of screen appear there. Okay, so how to start? So you can start with the very basics. So just first I'm giving you the very first program of any language. If you want to start the any language, always start with the hello world program. So why hello world program? Because it is the testing of that particular environment. Okay, we will test the particular environment is working or not. So go to the file and a new notebook.
Sir, 1
Yes.
minute. Sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah.
After this, sir. Let's ensure the participants are really ready for all these particular things. They have something on their screen, laptop. They're using this one. Let's ensure
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who are ready with me with the Google Collapse? Yes, just type me in chat box. Those who are actually doing the practical with me, just type me in chat box. Yes, Radhika ma'am, Swapnil sir. Yes. Yes, Mohit. Yeah, you are ready. Yes. Darshana Tokia, Dikshant. Yeah, ready. Yeah. So I'm receiving lots of ready. So we'll begin. Yeah, we will begin with the stuff. So you can whatever I'm typing here, if you have Jupyter notebook, you can open the Jupyter notebook and you can type the same thing there. The only advantage of using Google Collapse is there is a cloud storage. Okay, we don't have, actually, once I create my program here, it is as it is stored in our Google Drive. Okay, so let's start the file and the new notebook. When I click on the new notebook, so this is my the code cell will be created. So this is my, it's called as a code cell, and there is another type called as a text cell. Okay, text cell. First we will differentiate this code cell and the text cell. Code cell is nothing but whenever you want to type your actual program or actual instruction of your Python, then you should use the code cell. And if suppose And if you want to give some extra information regarding to your program, just like the comments that we did in C and C++, then we can use the text field. For example, I'm inserting the text cell here. So text cell, if you execute, actually it is executed like your comment. So here, suppose it is the, I'm typing the introduction to, or the hello world program. Simply first one is hello world program, hello program in Python. But hello program in Python. So this program I want to execute. So this should be my first this is my text cell. Now when I execute this text cell, now how to execute? Very simple. If I want to execute, then just you have to press the shift enter. Okay, shift enter. Just push shift enter. When you put the shift enter, then actually this whatever the text cell that you are writing, it is get executed, but actually it is not executed. It get just shown. So there are some formats of writing this line also, just like you can give some header string, like if you put only hash in front of it, then it is comes in a somewhat larger case. Okay, if you put the 2 hash, then it is comes like a smaller case like the previous. And if you again put the 3 hash, okay, so depending on that what type of the case you need, what is the size of that case, you put hash in front of it. Okay, so here this is called the title case, hello world program in Python. Now I want to write my very first program to check that my program is my environment is correct or not, or if my environment is giving the correct output or not. So what is my first program? The first program is the print. Okay, so it's a print statement, and in the print statement I just put the hello world. Okay, so always do the first hello world program whenever you have started any program. So how to execute it? To execute it, just you have to press the shift enter, or make sure that you are connecting to the Google server. So or automatically when you click on the, or when you press the shift enter, actually it will be automatically connected. Otherwise first connect it and then you execute it. So I'm directly executing it, so I'm pressing the shift enter, so it start executing. So it will show that it is connecting to the Google server, and this information sent to the Google server, it will be executing that instruction, and again what is the output, it will be sent back to us. So this is my output, so it is a hello world. Okay, so it means that I can say that now my environment has been successfully established and I can start with my program. Yes, so have you got the very first program output? Okay, yes, just type yes in chat box if you got this first program output, hello world program. Yes, Aniket got it. Yes, anyone? Yes, Amol, Abhang, Shraddha, Vinod, Mahajan, Archana. Yes, yeah. So and firstly, if you notice that firstly, when I'm not executing, when I'm writing that program, actually the RAM and disk is not associated with me. But when I actually running one of the instruction of my program, the Google has given me some RAM and hard disk. You can see here it is connected to Python 3 Google Compute Engine backend. The RAM given as a 0.76 GB out of the it is currently using 0.76 GB out of the 12.69 GB. Disk is the 107.77 GB has been allocated. Okay, so this much of the actually resource you can get from the Google. Okay, so if you have done this program, then we can directly start with the very first topic, that is Python basics. So we will start with the very basics of Python, because if I'm directly start with the list, dictionary, and set or the tuple, actually Python gets start with that point. But if you are very new in a Python, then I suggest that you should always start with the first basics of Python, because to overview this Python basics you require hardly 1 or 2 hours only. So we'll start with the Python basics. So this is my introduction. Actually I'm the founder of GB Softonics Solution. My website is gbsoftonics.com, my LMS website where you can get the different courses like careerlifestylehub.com. I'm also the Udemy instructor. The link of my Udemy courses you can get by using this link. link.ganeshathare.com/udemy Python. Now we'll start with the basics of Python, like identifier and keywords. Okay, I will always start with this point, because if you don't know that particular language you are going to learn, that is a case sensitive language or not, and what are the different keywords and how to create the identifiers, if you don't know, then you might start with the language, but you will stuck at a particular instant, and you will again get back to the basics. That is, what are the rules for creating the identifier? What are the rules? What are the different keywords available in Python? So that's why to learn the any language, very first basic thing is you should explore the how to create the identifiers in that language, and what are the different keywords present in the Python, present in that language. So Python is a case sensitive language, as the C, C++, and Java. Yeah, Python identifier is a name used to identify variable function. Yes, whatever the user defined things we are declaring inside a Python program, that is called as an identifier. Suppose if you are creating a function, if you are creating a class or any module or any variable, then that is called as an identifier. Okay, now what are the rules for creating the identifier? These rules you can compare with the rules for the creating the identifier in C and C++. It's a somewhat same rules. The first rule is it start with the alphabet or underscore. Yes, it only start with the alphabet or underscore. It never start with the number. Okay, so that is the first rule, followed by 0 or more letters. Yeah, so you can create a variable with a single underscore also. Okay, followed by 0 or more letters. So only single alphabet identifier you can also create, or the 2 letter or 3 letter or 5 letter. Okay, 0 or more letters you can include with the combination of underscore and the digits. Okay, and the third rule, and everyone I think know that the keywords you cannot use as an identifier name, because the keywords are the reserved words for the compiler, and we cannot use these keywords to use as an identifier. Okay, so all keywords are the lowercase. Only 2 or 3 keywords are there which is having the title case. So what are the different keywords present in a Python? We'll first print out that list of that keywords. Okay, you must know that these are the keywords present in Python, because if you don't know the keywords and if you are creating the variable of the same name, then your compiler will get an error. Okay, so first to print the keyword list, so create the import the here module keyword module. Okay, import the module keyword and just use print keyword dot kw list. So kw list is the list present in that module which is having the list of that particular keywords. So just I'm running this code, and you will have that 35 keyword, because I'm using here Python 3. Python 3 is having the 35 keywords. So you will get the total, the list of the 35 keywords here. So you can run the same command on your computer and just get your list of the keywords. Okay, so as I have said, only 3 keywords are there, which is in a title case: false, none, and the true. The first letter is only capital 1. Okay, the remainings are all are the small case letters. Okay. So just if you want to start with the Python, just note down these all the keywords in your notebook and just memorize it. So these are the keywords in the Python. Now, what are the different data types? Yes, the second topic to learn any language is to explore that what are the data types present in that language. So we know the 4 basic data types: integer, character, float, and double in a C, and C++, and Java language. Okay, like here, the Python is also having some basic data types. Okay, so first one, as we know, int, int. Okay, int. If you have the number without decimal point, then that number is called as an integer. Okay, integer. So you are having the data with the types of the int. The second one is, if you have the data with a decimal point, then you can consider that data as a type of the float. Okay, the next one is the complex data type. The complex data type is having the real part and the imaginary part. So actually this data type is missing in C and C++. So it is having this built-in data type complex. We can store the complex number in a Python directly. No need to create your own class. The bool data type is also having, bool data type contains only two values. The first one is true and the second one is the false. So bool is how bool variable can store only two values, true and false. The next one is the string data type. The string data type contains actually the string. So what is string? String is a collection of the characters. So if you have the collection of character enclosed in a single quote or double quote, then that is called as a string. So you can see here there is a missing data type called as a char data type. A char data type is missing here. So instead of char, everything is a string here. If you declare a single character also, that is also the string, and there is no difference between the single quote and double quote here. Okay, so you can use the single quote or the double quote for defining the string. And there is a bytes data type. Generally the byte data type is used when you want to store the data in terms of the bytes, in terms of the 8 bits format. Okay, so generally the byte data types are very useful in an embedded system. The next one is the these are the, you can say it is the advanced data type or the modified data type or the container data type. So which it is very similar like your array in array or the structure in the C++. So container means which having the different data types included in it. So that is it is a container in which we are storing the different data items. That is called the container data types. So list, tuple, set, and the dictionary, these are the 4 container data types. We will see these also. Then there is a user defined classes also. As the Python also support the object oriented programming, we can create our class also. Okay, we can create the class. So how to create the class, how to create the its constructor, how to create the object of that class, again we are going to see in next after lectures. So we'll start with the this theory, and the next one is the somewhat practical. So we'll do how to create the integer variable. Okay, to how to create an integer variable. Generally in a C++ and Java, if you are familiar with the C++ and Java, we do the int a is equal to 20. Okay, so why? Because there is a compile time language. These are the compile time language. In that compile time language, if you are creating any variable, actually you have to define the data types of that variable first, because the memory get allocated at compile time. But here no need to give the data type. Just the data type of that variable get decided what you are going to store inside that variable. So data type of that variable is decided at runtime. So if a is equal to 20, if you are storing the type of a, the type of a becomes a integer. So no need to define as an integer, automatically it become an integer. So only assign the integer variable to that variable, it become an integer. So when I run this, I'm getting the output as a is equal to 20. Now next is equal to the next example. In this example, actually a, I'm making a equal to 30. The value of a get printed, and also I'm printing the type of a. So what is type of a? Type of a, actually it is very similar, like if you want the what is the data type of that particular variable, if you want to know that, then we can use that function type function. So just use type of a and you will get what is the type of that particular variable. The type of that variable is the int. Actually here all integer, I have said that here it is a basic data type. It is not a primitive data types. It is int, float, complex, bool, string, byte. These are also the type of the class, because it is having, it can store the data. Again, it is having its own function associated with it. Okay, so you can say it is a modified data type. It is not a primitive data type. So type of a is a int. So just create a variable and just get the type of that particular variable. Like here I'm doing a is equal to 3.566. If I'm doing this 3.566, then the type of a becomes float. Why? Because I'm storing the float variable. I am running this program, and you can see here the type of my a, becomes the float variable here. Now we can define the float in 2 format. The first one using the decimal point also, and using that mantissa and exponent format. Now, next one is the next thing we'll see that what is the range? What is the range? That is how much big integer we can store, or how much big float we can float number we can store in your variable. Okay, so just for this, what I'm doing, I'm creating one variable, and in that variable I'm storing a very big number. Okay, it is a very big number, and let's check that is it fixed or not. It is in fixed in that particular variable or not. And if you compare the output with this assignment, then you will get the same output here. So it means that there is you can say there is no range for this integer variable. You can define the, or you can store the very large number inside. So do not worry about the underflow or overflow. You can store the negative number, very big negative number, also very big positive number also. Okay, in a Python. But actually the problem with the float is that a number greater than 1.8 e308, it means 1.8 multiplied by the 10 raised to 308 is referred as a infinity. Okay, 1.8 into 10 raised to 308, it is referred as a infinity. So if you do this 1.7 e300, so it is in a range, it is within the range, so you will get this number. But if you goes beyond the range, then you will get a output as a INF, that is infinity. Getting this? So it is only in case of the float data type. Now next data type we will see that how to create the complex, how to store the complex variable. We know that complex variable is having the real and the imaginary part. So this one is the real part and the 2 is the imaginary part. Why? Because this 2 is associated with the j, so we can say that 2 is the imaginary part. So a is equal to 1 plus 2j, it is the one complex number. B, second number. And can I do the its arithmetic? Yes, you can definitely do. You can do the addition, multiplication, subtraction, then division also. You can do the different arithmetics. So how to access this complex data variable? Just simply, if I printing the a, you can get the 1 plus 2j. Okay, if I'm printing b, you will get that b 3 plus 5j, and c a plus b. So real plus real, imaginary plus imaginary, 4 plus 7j, you will get output. But if I want only the real part or the imaginary part, then I can easily do by using by accessing the real part of that variable by using the variable called as a real present in that particular object. So c is the object having the variable real and the imag. So if I want the real part of that c, just use c dot real, you will get 4.0. c dot imag, that is imaginary part I want accessing, so here the 7 is the output. You can also calculate the conjugate of the complex number by calling the function called as a conjugate. So conjugate, you know that. So the 4 plus 7j, the conjugate is just 4 minus 7j. So it means that you can use this Python for a different mathematical operation also, which actually uses the complex numbers. The next data type we'll see as an example as a bool data type. A is equal to 10 greater than 15. Now 10 greater than 15, what is this? This is the condition, and we know that condition is having the output in terms of the boolean, like output in terms of the true or the false. So this 10 greater than 15, it is true value. It is it is a false. A greater than 15, this is the false condition. So what is a? A is a false, and you can directly store false inside that variable also. So now a is equal to, now you can see here, firstly where I have assigned the a with the integer. Then in the same program I am assigning the a with the float number. Then the type of a becomes float. I'm assigning the a with the complex number. Now the type of a becomes complex, and I'm assigning the a with the bool data type. So the type of that a becomes the bool. How it is possible? It is only possible in the Python. It is only possible in Python. It is not possible in C and C++. In a C and C++, actually, if you declare the data type of one of the variable, then it is as it is until its lifetime. Until its lifetime. So int a. So a is always integer in its until its lifetime. Getting this? So if I'm running this, now the data type, the type of A becomes the complex. You can check the type of A by using again the type of A. If I'm doing type of A, now type of A becomes the bool. Getting this? So this is the facility that is available in a Python. Now next one is bytes data type. The byte data type we can create by using its constructor bytes. So how many array of bytes, what is the size of the array that you want for these bytes? So bytes of X, if you are doing, then it will create the array of 4 bytes. So X is 4. So bytes of X, the bytes of 4. So it will create the array of 4 bytes. So if I run this, actually the A is created, and what the A contains, the A contains the 4 bytes. You can see a /X. /X represents hexadecimal X. Hexadecimal number. This is the first hexadecimal number, second hexadecimal number, and we know that this hexadecimal 2 numbers are there. 00 represent 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte, and 4 byte. So it can store. Now you can say that here A is an array of the 4 bytes. Now if you have the list with you, you can create the array of bytes using that list also, like X is equal to 1578. So it means that here you are creating the array of that particular array of the bytes using these values. So the size of X is 4. So the size of array is again 4, but the content is defined here. The content is 1578. You can see here previously the content is 000. Now the content you have filled with the 1578. Getting this? Now next one is string data type. How to create the string data type in Python? In a string data type, we can create by using the string is equal to and just use double quote or the single quote. Both single quote and double quote is same in the Python. So instead of double quote here, you can use a single quote also. So if you have the string with you, if you have created the string with you, and now if you want to create the array of the bytes using the string, then you can use this format. So ARR is equal to byte string, and here I'm converting that bytes. I'm converting that particular character in its format UTF-8. UTF-8 represent, I'm converting in terms of the ASCII value. Generally, the Python character, every character in Python is it's a type of the Unicode character. So P is a type of the Unicode character. I want to the size of the Unicode character is 2 bytes. So I want to convert that 2 bytes into the 1 byte. So we have to do this encoding. So we have to convert that 2 byte character in a single byte. So I'm doing this. String converted into using this particular encoding. So every character is considered as an 8-bit long now. If I run this, you will get that it is creating the array of the bytes which contains the particular string, contains the Pythonese int string. Now the size, if you measure the size of this and the size of this, it is a half of that particular previous one. Because here every character is a size of 2 byte. Here every character is a size of 1 byte only. So it is very important if you are using the Python in a embedded system. Okay, so no need to here the next type is a variable type and the assignment. So here no need to define the type of variable, as we know that the type of variable is taken from the context in which the variable is being used. So here A is equal to 25. So A is taken, the type of A is taken as an integer. A equal to 3.15. So the type of A becomes float. A is equal to high. Now the type of A is a str, that is your string. Getting this? So type of variable can be checked using the built-in function type. Yeah, you have already done this. So A is equal to Python. Now the type of A becomes the str. Now again we'll do some basic steps, that is how to do different variable assignment. So how to do variable assignment? Simple, using the assignment operator. A equal to 10, yeah, 10 get assigned to A. 3.14, pi is equal to 3.14, 3.14 get assigned to pi, Ganesh get assigned to name. So these are some assignment, simple variable assignment. Now we can do the multiple assignment also in a single line. So how to do the multiple assignment? So these three statements are there. If you want to execute this three statement in a single statement, then use this technique. Like just after a equal to 10, just put the semicolon here. Now semicolon here is treated as a statement terminator here. Now a is equal to 10. This is considered as a one statement. Pi is equal to 3.14. This is considered as a second statement, and name is equal to Ganesh is considered as a third statement. So in this way, we can actually assign the variable in a different variable, multiple variables in a single line. Or instead of this, this is the advanced method to assign the variable. So you have the three variables, a, pi, and name, and if you want to assign these values to the respective variable, so like 10 should be assigned to a, the second value should be assigned to this pi, and the third value should be assigned to name. So you can do this technique. A comma pi comma name is equal to and 10 comma 3.14 comma Ganesh. So here you will have the a value as 10, pi value as 3.14, and the name is equal to Ganesh get assigned. Otherwise, this is also the valid statement: a equal to b equal to c equal to d equal to 5. All these four variable get created with the value 5. So d get assigned to 5, the value of d get assigned to c, value of c get assigned to b, value of c get assigned to a, like that. Okay, so it is you can it is very simple, and this is only new in a Python. The next one is the arithmetic operator. We'll see one by one. Quickly, we will see the different arithmetic operator present in Python. For the first operators, fourth operator, you already know that 2 plus, now plus, minus, multiplication, and the division. Okay, so 2 plus 3 addition, 3 minus 1 subtraction, 2 multiply 3 the multiplication, and the division operator to the division. But here one point to be noticed here for the division operation is actually it do the real division. It do the real division. In a C language, actually, if I do 11 divided by 2 in a C language, if I do, then I'm getting the answer as 5 only. Why? Because here there the remainder part is not considered here. Okay, because integer 11 is integer, 2 is also integer, integer divided by integer is integer, but here the Python is smarter enough to get your output as a real output, and that real output as a 5.5. So you'll get an actual output when you do the actual division here. So 11 divided by 2, you are not getting the output as 5 you are not getting the output as 5 only, you are getting the real one. So though that 11 and 2 are the integer, you will get a actual real output as a float here. Getting this? So this is the difference between the C and Python. Now we'll see the next three important operators. The very first operator is 5 modulo 2. Can anybody tell me out of you what is the modulo operator? Yes, what is the modulo operator? Yes, it gives the reminder. It gives the reminder. So when I do the actually division, and I'm getting the there are two results actually. When I do the division, I'm getting two results. First one is your question, and the second one is your reminder. Okay, so if how to get the reminder? If I want only reminder, 5 modulo 2. If 5 divided by 2, just get the reminder. The reminder is 1. So 5 modulo 2, the reminder is 1. Yes. So E is equal to 1. So always remember that modulo operator gives the reminder. Now what about this double slash? The double slash and slash, you can compare the slash and the double slash. 11 slash 2 or 11 division by 2, you will get a result as 5.5. But if you are doing here the 11 divided by 2, if you are doing 11 divided by 2, then you are getting the same result that you are getting while doing the division in your C and C++. Like it is a division in a C and C++, like you are getting here the quotient only. So if you want the result of your division only, you will get this floor division operation, floor division. So floor division operation 11 more double slash 2, you will get a result as 5. And if you want the output, actual output 5.5, then use only a single slash. Use only single slash, you will get 5.5. Double slash, you will get only 5. So quotient only. Getting this? So modulo operator gives the reminder. This double slash operator, floor division operator gives the quotient only. Now the next, this is very new operator. in Python. 2 double star 3, 2 double star 3, double star operator generally is called as a raise to operator. It is called, or the power operator, raise to operator. So 2 raise to 3. We can read this as a 2 raise to 3. So 2 cube. So 2 cube is 8. We know that 2 cube is 8. So whatever the first number raised to second number, if you want to calculate, use this double star. Use the double star. So just check the output. So 5 modulo 2, answer is 1. 11 division by 2, the answer is 5. And the 2 modulo 3, the 2 raised to 3 is 8. Yes. So are you getting this? Are you with me? Are you getting the all outputs? Just type yes in chat box if you are getting the output, all the outputs that I'm getting, or any. If you're lagging, actually, you can just inform me. Yes. Yeah. Now the next one is the operator precedence. Yes, we know that operator precedence, it is called the priority of the operators. And we know the BODMAS rule. Okay, BODMAS rule. So same rule is applicable here. The higher precedence is given to the parenthesis. After that, the precedence is given to the exponential operator, that is a raise to operator. Then the precedence is given to the multiplication, division, double star, floor division, and the modulo operator, that is multiplication and division, and the least priority to addition and the subtraction. Okay, so just do remember this operator precedence. Now the next one is type conversion. Yes, so we have already seen these topics in the previous language, like type conversion. If you have one of the variable and if you want to convert that variable in another type, okay, there are some use cases there. For example, you are receiving the output in terms of the string, okay, but actually these are the numbers. But the numbers you are receiving in terms of the string, and you want that number format. So you have to convert that string into the integer. So generally, the function that we are using in a C language is A to I function. But in a Python, actually, we can directly do this type conversion. Just use int, and whatever the string you want to convert, just put it here. Or whatever the float number you want to convert, just put it here. And the output of this particular conversion is the integer number. Getting this? So I can do one more. I can insert one code cell here, and just I'm explaining with one of the example. For example, your num1 is there, num1 variable is there, but it is the 1, 2, 3, 4. But it is, or the type of the num1 is now string. If you're printing the type of num1, then it is the string actually. Okay, and suppose there is a num2 is there. So there is num2, for example 6, and suppose if you are doing num3 is equal to num1 plus num2. So what is the output? Can you tell me, if I'm printing the num3, then what is the output here? Yes, anyone? Yes, Rupali says 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, Rupali put the error. Yes. So actually, what is this plus operator? Here the plus operator is not an addition operator here. It is a concat operator, concatenation operator. So it is if there are two strings are there, and if you are using the plus operator in between the two string, so for second string is concat to first string. Second string is concat to first. So second string is attached to first string, and the num3 contains that concatenation result. So if I'm running this program, so you will get output as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. So how to correct it? So if I want to actually convert this number, which is in a string, I want to convert this number into the integer. So I must use the type conversion. So how to use type conversion? Simple. Just use this one, int, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 in a string. Again, int and 6. Okay, so whatever the one integer value of 1, 2, 3, 4 gets stored into the num1. So type of num1 is now becomes integer. The type of num2 becomes the integer. Now integer plus integer is integer, and you will get a result as 1, 2, You'll get result as 1240. So actually this is the uses of this type conversion. If you have one of the number which is in another data type, and if you want that data type in a different format, then you can use this type conversion. Okay, so there are these conversion are there: int, float, complex, bool, str, char and odd. The char and odd, these are the actually function which is used to get the character associated with a given ASCII value. Okay, given ASCII value. For example, suppose if I'm printing print the CHR of, and suppose the one of the integer value I'm giving as a 97. Okay, so what is the CHR of 97? So character value of 97. Character value of 97. Yes, anyone? 97 is stated as ASCII value here. So what is the character value of 97? If I'm running this program, I'm getting the output as character value of 97. That is small a. That is small a. Yes, you are getting small a. Yeah. And there is a another function called as a ORD. It's called the ordinal value. Okay, ordinal value of the particular character. So if you want to get if you want to know the ordinal value, that is the ASCII value of the particular character, for example capital A. Okay, so if you want to print the ASCII value of capital A, so use ORD of A, so you'll get output as 65. ORD of A capital A is 65. Getting this? Okay, now the next one is there different built-in function we will see. We'll quickly revise this built-in function because this is not somewhat new to you. Only you should know that this is the function present in Python, and this function has to be used in this manner. Like x, y, and z, these are the three variables. So we'll operate the different function on these variables. So remember the values: x is 3, y is 5, and z is equal to 2. Now with ABS of x, so it will print the absolute value of x. So whatever the absolute value of x, it will get printed. So if I run this, it will get absolute value of x as 3. Okay, you will get an absolute value of x as 3. So firstly, I have to execute the first one, and then I have to execute the second one. Okay, so first I have to define the x, then only I can use the x. Okay, so here the x is defined, x is equal to 3. Then I'm doing ABS of x. ABS of x, that is x is equal to 3. Now if I'm doing -3, then ABS of x becomes also 3 only. So what is absolute value, you better know. Okay. Now power x comma y, power x comma y, it is the same like your exponential operator, double star operator. X raised to y, it returns the x raised to y. Same POW function is available in C language also. It returns the x raised to y. So 3 raised to 5. So what is 3 raised to 5? It is 243. 2 raised to 5. So you can do here like this also. You can also provide the number directly. So 2 raised to 4. 2 raised to 4 is 16, like this. There is a mean function is there, mean function. These are the inbuilt function, built-in function. Mean, if you have the number, any numbers with you, and if you want directly the smallest number out of that number, you can directly use mean function. So mean of these numbers, you will get 9, because 9 is the minimum number. Okay. Now max is the another function which will give the maximum of the given number. Now out of the x, y, and z, which is the maximum one? 5. 5 is the max one. So max of x, y, and z, I'm getting the output as 5. Yes, so max and mean, are you getting this function? Mix, mean, and max, very important function. The next one is a div mod function. Div mod function related to the division. It returns the pair of floor division. It returns the pair of floor division and the remainder. So if you have the two numbers, and if you want to do the division, and if you want the floor division as well as the remainder, then you use the div mod function. So 11 comma div mod 11 comma 2, 5 is the floor division. Actually it is the quotient, 1 is the remainder, and it is, you will get in terms of the tuple. So what is tuple, we'll discuss later. So this pair, this circular bracket represent tuple. So bin 8, it is a binary equivalent of particular value. Bin 8, decimal value 8. So binary equivalent of the decimal 8, and the binary equivalent of decimal 8 is 0B 1000. Yeah, we know that. So you can directly get the binary equivalent. You can directly get the octal equivalent, like octal equivalent of 8. The octal equivalent of 8 is, I think, 10. Yeah, it is 10. Octal equivalent of 8 is 10. So you can get the octal equivalent. Hex equivalent also you can get using the hex function 0C. Okay, it is a 0xC. So a equivalent of 12 is C. Okay. Now next one is a round function, very important function. Okay, very important one. For example, if you have the float number and if you want to round this number up to the 2 decimal point only, up to 2 decimal point. So how to round up? So there is a round function. How to use it? Round x comma 2 to represent round up to 2 decimal point. So if the third digit is greater than 5, then this 6 should be converted to 7. We know that because we have learned in a mathematics. So what is the round of this 4.5687? So it is 4.57. Getting this? So if you have the number and if you want to round that number in a particular decimal point, then you can use the round function. Okay. Now here, to use this function, to use the built-in function, you don't have to import any library. These are the built-in function. You can directly use it. You can directly use it. But there is some functions are available in a math library. So we'll quickly see that what are the different functions available in math library. Import math. This is the first line that you need to do, because if you're not doing this, you can't actually use the function inside that math. So firstly, you have to import the math library. So just create a new cell and just do their import math. Just do import math. Okay, I've done this import math, and after import math I'm doing, then you can now use that math library or math module directly. Just use the math dot, and whatever the function you want to access inside that library, you have to call it. So just like math.py, actually pi is not a function, pi is a constant, and it is declared in that particular module. So math.py will get the pi constant, and we know that the value of pi constant, it is nearly about 3.14. So it is 3.14159, like that. Okay. There is a e constant is also declared in math library. So math.e, e constant, I think it is 2.7 something, 2.71. So it is e is the e constant present in your math. Okay, so whenever you require that e constant, use the math.e. Then x is equal to 5, and if you want to calculate the factorial of that particular value, use the factorial function present in math. Math.factorial of x, you will get a factorial of 5. So just you can note down the function only directly, math.factorial. It is a self-explanatory. Okay, there is no such a rocket science here, and you don't have to go inside it, how it is implemented. You should know that these functions are ready-made available, because in C language, actually, whenever we want to calculate the factorial, so you have to write down your own factorial function. So here the factorial function is ready-made available, math.factorial, math.factorial. There is a function called as FABS. ABS function we have seen. ABS function will calculate the absolute value of integer, but FABS will return the absolute value of float value. Okay, so if you have the float number, and if you want the absolute value of that float number, then you can use it, math.fabs. When I run this program, then you will get the output as 3.14, 3.45. So your absolute value of that minus 3.45 is 3.45. Okay, just like log is there. If you are using only log, then it is the basis e, log x base to e, log x base to e. So x is equal to 45, log x is 3.80. So if you want to calculate log base to 10, then log 10 is the function, log 10. Math.exp, exp function will return the e raised to that particular number, e raised to, e is the constant, we know that 2.71. So raised to that raised to the, so e square if you want to calculate. So use mat.exp2. When I run this, you will get the exp of 2, that is e raised to x. Then trunc function is there. Now it is again important one, trunc function. So 46.01 is the value of x, and if I do this, sorry, if I do this math.trunc x, so it truncate to integer. So what is trunc? Trunc means the point value, the point value get discarded here. Point value get discarded, only the integer value get considered here. Just like suppose 01, if I'm doing 01, if I'm doing 98, if I'm doing 98, 46.98, and if I'm doing the math.truncx, so can you tell me according to you, what should be the output of trunc? What should be the output of trunc? Yes, Aniket says 46. Yes, Shraddha Patil ma'am says 47. Yes, Sophia ma'am says 47. So according to you, actually, you are calculating the value as 47 because it is 0.98, but actually it is not a round function. Yes, Suraj, Sophia, Shraddha ma'am, actually it is not a round function. It is not rounding. It truncate the decimal point. It truncate the decimal point. So whatever the decimal point after the number, it will get deleted, and the output, when I run this program, you will get output as 46 only. Getting this? Yes, that is the major difference between the round function and the trunc function. Round function and trunc function. Trunc will not see what is comes after decimal point. It is as it is. Whatever the decimal integer number, it is as it is get written there. Okay. The next one is cell function. So cell function will return the smallest integer which is greater than or equal to x. So x value is 3.56. So what is the smallest integer which is greater than x? Firstly, tell me what are the integer which is greater than x? Which are the integers which is greater than x? X is 3.56. So after x, that is after 3.56, the next integer is 4. The next integer is 5. Then 6. Then 7. Then so out of that all the available integer, which is the smallest one? 4. Which is the smallest one? 4. So your math.cell will return the smallest integer which is greater than or equal to x. So 4. Okay. Now floor value, it nothing but it returns the largest integer which is less than this value. So what are the integer which is less than the 3.56? Largest what are the integer which is less than 3.56? The first one is 3, then 2, then 1, and then 0, like that. So what is the largest integer of that available set? 3. So what is the floor value? Floor value of 3.56 is 3. Getting the difference between cell and floor, most of times the beginners are actually the freshers are mostly confused in this cell and floor. So always just remember this formula: smallest integer greater than or equal to x, and largest integer less than or equal to x. Okay. Now the next one is x equal to 3.56. Math.mod f. So it returns the tuple of fractional and integer part of x as a separate. Like if I want the 3 separate, and if I want 0.56 separate. Okay. Integer part I want separate, and the fractional part I want separate. So use mod f function. So as a tuple you are getting, as a tuple, first part is a fractional part and the second part is the your integer part. Getting this? The next one is somewhat trigonometric function. So x is equal to 1. If x value is there, it is a simple variable, and if you want to convert this value into the degree, consider this x as a radian value, and if you want to convert that radian value into degree, then use the degree function. So if you have the input in terms of the radian, and if you want degrees, then use math.degrees. Okay. X equal to 45. Now if you suppose if you have the input in terms of the degrees, and if you want to convert into the radians, then use math.radians. Okay. Now there is a sin h, sin x. Generally by default it taken as a radians. So if x is equal to 1, so math.sin x will give the output of sin 1. Sin 1 is a radian. Cos x, yes, tan x, tan function is also there. Sin h is a sine hyperbolic. Okay, hyperbolic sine of x. Then cosine. Some mathematical formulae calculation actually we require this trigonometric function also. That's why we must know this, which are the functions available and how to access it. Hyperbolic tan h. Then sine inverse. Sine inverse also we can calculate. Then cos inverse also we can calculate. Cos inverse. Always remember that whatever the input that I'm giving here, it is in terms of the radians. If your input in terms of the degrees, then first convert that degree into radian, then give that input to the a cos or the a sin function. Now the a tan function is a tan inverse. A tan is a tan inverse. Again, one more function is there, hypot function. Generally, it returns the Euclidean distance. Generally, you know the Euclidean distance. It is the smallest distance between the 2 points. So if you have the x and y, 2x and y, and if you want the smallest distance between 2 points, then we can get that by using this one, hypot x comma y. It returns the square root of x square plus y square. It returns the square root of x square plus y square. So this is the formula for hypot function. So it returns this value, square root of x square plus. So whenever you have this particular formula, you can directly use, without using the square, this formula, you can use the math.hypot function. Now there is a random number generation. Actually, we'll take this random number generation in our next session, because I think 12:33 is the time. So Sushant sir, should I stop? Because the next session again get disturbed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
No issue.
So we'll stop here. 12:33 is the time. We will exactly start the next session. Exactly, I'm starting with the 1 o'clock. The next session will exactly start at the 1 o'clock. Okay. And start with the topic, same topic, random number generation. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Surely. Thank you, sir. All the participants are requested to have a lunch and we'll come back at 1 p.m. sharp. Okay. So we'll go through the next journey of Python.
Yeah.
So all are requested to fill the attendance and feedback form also. For throughout this 5 days, please remember your participant ID. So it will be easy for to fill the feedback and attendance form. Okay. So we'll join at sharp 1 p.m. The link for the session will be same. Throughout all session, this link will be same. But again, I'll post this link on WhatsApp group as well as on Telegram channel. So thank you. So we'll meet again on at 1 p.m. sharp. Thank you.